Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Jason here at Signature Esports. A pleasure it is to have you here live and in charge. Second broadcast of the day here. And tell you what, it's going to be a fun one. We like Xfinity Series action. We like Xfinity Series cars, and today is no exception. We are going to have some fun. I am joined in the broadcast booth by Kyle Grzech. Kyle, how are you doing, my man?
Send beforehand, but hopefully it holds off and we can finish this race here and then we can go enjoy some cup racing afterwards.
That'll be the key. We like Cup Series action. Let's go over your starting grid here for NASHVILLE Super Speedway, one of the newest tracks, actually one of the oldest tracks that got a repave and some new additions, and now we're going to have some fun. So back in the season for the second year for the NASCAR circuit. We're going to be back at it here for the No Toad Racing League here. Sixth race of the season, I do believe. Davey Hendricks is going to be your pole sitter, and he's going to be having some fun, no doubt, in that number 88 Races machine. Ileana Hamilton's going to be there, the outside pole sitter. John Creedler, Johnny Brugg make up that second row. Alan Dixon and Justin Malarkey, well, I tell you what, they're in the mix. The MR73, we're talking about paint schemes. He's running that classic paint scheme for iRacing. Matthew's going to have the 24 in lock with Terry Brooks to the outside. The 023 looks fast as ever. Rob Hattenbach and Dustin Parton are going to make up row number 5. Scott Kelly and Sid Kashishian is going to be out there in row number 6.
And Nick Biddy is going to be starting from 13th. You got Christopher Harrison in 14th. You got Nodge John Crutchley in 15th. You've got Jason R. Benson in 16th. You got James Lawson in 17th. Brian Cooper in 18th. And the last person making a time is John Barton in 19th. You've got Gary Sargent starting 20th. You've got AJ Binish starting 21st. And we have Marshall Harris starting 22nd.
Mr. McFly himself, the M-Fly 14, tail into the field, folks. We're going to have some fun, and I feel a little bit better. I think the Dayquil has finally kicked in, and I'm ready to go. iRacing pace car, the non-existent Tesla that is not the Tesla logo on that thing, but it looks like a Tesla. It's going to pace them around here. Nashville Super Speedway is a ton of fun. 120 laps for the drivers here for the NTRL. 79 degrees on the air temperature, 62% humidity, partly cloudy sky, 6-mile-an-hour wind, 65% fuel, 4 sets of tires in the pits, 1 fast repair on the 1.3 mile quad, or not quad, over the tri-oval area is sketchy, flat track, concrete, very loud racetrack. You're going to notice that as we get going, and they're going to be up to speed, and it's going to be a ton of fun. No Toad Racing League, ready to go. Look at it for the first time this season. Green flags gonna wave right about. Yeah.
Davey Hendricks gets a good jump off the start there. He had a little bit of issues with his VR headset beforehand, so he almost didn't participate. And he's won a lot of races this year, so that would have been a shame not to see him participate.
You know, a ton of fun this racetrack is, and because he had some issues, I think he's going to look to try to stay out front, and that's where he's going to be holding on. Flat track, not really a multi-group track. We're going to see a lot of this concrete track kind of work into its own advantages, but that outside wall out of turn 4 is going to be met with a lot of right side aprons, right side quarter panels, I do believe.
Yeah, and you have to be really careful exiting the corner here, because if someone on the outside kind of checks up because they're starting to push out and might hit the wall, you might be at a disadvantage there and potentially hit somebody and cause an accident. So that's something that you need to keep an eye on throughout the night. Throughout
this race, we're going to see a lot of
contact. 24, Matt Parasini gets hit by the 98.
Still running straight, though. The 24 falling back just a little bit there. Parasini here.
Oh, we got a crash in the back.
There's a big crash. All right, fastest lap of the race already ran Davey Hendricks, but we're going to have an issue with AJ Binish. He is going to be off track. He's able to avoid that one. With Marshall Harris getting involved. We'll take a look at what happened. Maybe I had to alt F4 there. That's what it looked like. I'm not quite sure. Maybe something happened there. The 14 already had some left side damage. Let's take a look. Maybe some contact, maybe some netcode contact. Not quite sure. Need to find. We had already hit the wall. All right. So here's the 14. Let's take a look at this lap right here. For these fine folks. Little far chase view for you. He's there to the outside of, I believe that's a 66 right there, or the 96. I think it's a 66. It's upside down for me here. High into the corner, his exit puts him up towards, I talk about getting into the wall. Well, there's 14 behind. 68 had a run. 68 went to the high side, says, I've got this. All right, we're going to pass on the outside. 14 down to the bottom. How about a good run, good run, good run, good run. And he just gets loose. And then in front of the 66 goes around. He got free. That right side just didn't hold up, and so he's gonna drop into pit road there. And I do believe he is scoring him out of the race. So maybe he just got a little frustrated there and went and took an all F4 out of that. We don't want to see that. We want to see him get out there and make it work. Nashville Super Speedway is a pretty beautiful site. They've done a fantastic job of making this track look absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and we're looking at a 120 lap race here, and fuel wise, we were looking at about a 38, maybe 40 lap if you're able to stretch it on fuel. So we might see some people come down here just to kind of top off and extend that first run.
Not a bad idea. Save the set of tires. Just make sure you're on a different pit strategy. Nothing wrong with that. Some people may come in and get some of that damage repaired, like the 48, and he went ahead and maybe topped off some of those, some of that damage. The 7 is going to do the same thing. A little right side for the 7. Try to make that work for himself as well. Davey Hendricks, your race leader right now. Keys to success for this series. What does he need to do to make that long run work for himself?
Yeah, you just really need to make sure that you keep the tires on it. That's the one thing, is you can go fast. I think that's kind of the easiest goal to set in iRacing, is to go fast. Find those lines, kind of copy what the fast guys are doing, but it's really important to kind of just have the feel of when you're starting to overstress the tires, trying to keep the right front on it, or figure out when you're wearing out the right rear more. So here it's going to be very, very important to make sure you keep that right front on it. So kind of using the brake smart, setting your brake bias correctly so you can kind of use it to turn the car, and just kind of keep those tires on it so you're out front, kind of maintaining a pace, and then you're able to maintain a gap and maybe later in the run be able to extend the gap by having fresher tires.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Kendra, thank you for the like. James, thank you for the like and the shares. And of course, thank you for becoming, that just happened yesterday. Facebook finally graced me with the opportunity to have supporters. Basically what that means is that you're supporting me directly through Facebook, and by doing that, that gives you a special badge. It gives you access to a group that I'm going to be able to do some gaming with me. Things, the private streams and things that I'm a part of, you're going to be able to be a part of that as well. So thank you so much for becoming my first supporter out there. And you are the very first person to have the supporter badge. You even have the #1 supporter badge on the side as well. So thank you very much on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube for Signature Esports. We are also live and in charge of the No Toad Racing League YouTube channel. So make sure that you tune in every Sunday night for that fantastic action. We're going to talk about the No Toad Racing League this Friday in our podcast. So tune in for that. We're going to do that live as well. Thank you. Have a great broadcast. I'm having a wonderful broadcast. Thank you very much. First supporter, I like it. Let's keep it rolling. Hendricks gets a great restart there. We're back at Green Flag Racing. Tell me about it.
Yeah, Davey got a really good jump there. In this series, we're allowed to start on the leader. So the leader chooses when he wants to go. He chose a really good point to start moving there. Got a good gap over the 99 of John Cradler. So, yeah, he's just out front and in control. He just needs to keep his eyes out the front window and kind of focus on keeping his tires under him.
Tires are a big thing. We talk about 20th anniversary. So earlier, I got a little correction from our good friends over at the No Toad Racing League. Last week when I was talking about it, I misspoke about how the No Toad Racing League has been able to do things. So I want to make sure I read it. The league is celebrating its 20th anniversary. The league was founded 20 years ago. However, their seasons are typically run every few months apart, with breaks in the middle. So they're in their currently in their 22nd season, and there is that's pretty much what we're seeing. So the 20th anniversary up there is the 20-year anniversary, which is absolutely killer when it comes to sim racing in general. But 22 seasons of success, we like to see it. We're gonna love to see what they're gonna be able to do in the future and how they're gonna be able to carry. That is one of the longest running seasons and series that I've been able to hear. iRacing hasn't even been what is it, 14 years? They came out in 2008, And since then, League Racing has been there. Oh, a little contact with the wall back there outside of 4. We talk about it. That was Johnny Brugg in the number 1. Fastest lap of the race, John Kreidler right there. Or Kreidler in the 99. He's starting to catch the 88 here.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of people kind of coming off of specifically turn 4 and kind of smacking the wall. Those that I've seen do it is the 13 of Dustin Barton. I've seen the 19 of Sid Kashishian do it. The aforementioned Johnny Brugg. Yeah, it's just one of those things where you can kind of carry the speed out to the wall, and you think you're good, you think you're good, you think you're good, and then you notice you're not good, but it's too late. So you just got to square up the hit and keep on rolling.
Ty Trovey on the old season 22 No Total Racing League YouTube channel right now says, let's see Davey continue his top 5 streak and with a win tonight. Absolutely agree with that. Let's see if we're going to be able to, if he's going to be able to have that streak. Right now, he's going to have to hold on to those tires for a little while longer. A driver that we're going to be looking at here is going to be Justin Malarkey right back there, but to the outside of Rob Hattenbach, the 13 of Dustin Barton was trying to roll there. Good run for him so far. Maybe trying to find a different line. He is a little free on the outstretch of that hand, 23 to the inside.
Yeah, some of the lines that you'll see here is you'll kind of see people move around, but kind of a good indicator of somebody who's either charging up their entries too much and are going to be dealing with tire wear later on in the run is somebody who just gains a lot under braking, but then loses a lot of time on exit. They're just going to be tearing up that right front, so you got to really, really be careful of. It is just easy to kind of send it into the corner and stop, but you really need to just worry about doing the whole entire corner and probably what might be best for your tires in the long haul.
Big long haul is what we want to see here. 13 of 120 being completed. And big special thank you to all of you out there watching and enjoying. Make sure you reach up, hit the freeway to support. That is to like the stream, follow all of the platforms, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube for Signature Esports. Again, subscribe out there on the YouTube channels. Of course, the No Total Racing League has a lot of great success, and we're enjoying being a part of the NTRL, especially the Xfinity Series. And now, talk to me about, they have more than one series, so if somebody's out there looking for racing, where will they find there's another series, I believe it's was the ARCA series before?
Yeah, so our Sunday series was an ARCA series. Mondays is now our ARCA series. This is our main focus. This is our Premier League. ARCA is on Monday. Tuesday, we have our 1987 series. We've had other series kind of come and go throughout the week. We have some that are kind of in a summer break, like our Saturday King of the Hill series, which is just kind of like random combinations of legacy cars and tracks that you typically wouldn't think to take cars to. But yeah, if you're looking for good racing, we got our Sunday Xfinity Series, which you have to be approved for, so you have to race through either our ARCA series or the 1987 series on Tuesday to be eligible.
We love it. Love every bit of it. We talked about fuel strategy. We talk about racing. We talk about points. We talk about everything that goes on with this, and it's always good to see. I'm good to see Gary having a lot of fun with this, and I know that he and Al have been working very hard to keep this rolling. And tell you what, nothing wrong with this series right now. Biggest mover of the race is going to be Nick Biddy, is up 5. The 46 caught my eye there for a moment, and it looks like he is trying to roll the spectrum. Strength of field rating for this series is I wouldn't say surprising, because we have talent all over the place, but I think the average strength of field, which was just here a moment ago, I was trying to pull it up, but apparently when I clicked on the remote, it just wasn't working. It's terrible. Never mind. Let's see. Let's go over iRatings here real quick. Kreidler in the 99, 34.27, tracking down the 26.50 of Davey Hendricks. Ileana Hamilton at a 21.93, 14.99 for Alan Dixon. Rob Hattenbach at 15.92. So that's pretty much the stretch of this. We've got 3,000 drivers. We've got 1,500 drivers. We've got 1,000 drivers. We've got a 907 out there. We also have some 2,100s. So everybody talks about iRating as it's the end all to be all to prove how good of a driver you are. It's like the stats in Warzone where you survive the most drop-ins or whatever the case may be, or how long you survive. Well, that's pretty much what iRacing has come to be. You can have an iRating, and you can have a very good iRating and finish inside the top 10 every race. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you know the track or you know how to drive. It just means that you know how to survive. So I take that out of the way, and I say iRating is good. It's good to judge some drivers to know that they've been able to race around people in their same skill gap. However, there's nothing like having an intermixed league with iRatings kind of all over the place, because then you get drivers in there that, one, can learn from those who may quote unquote have the best experience, but also can get out there and run with them. And if they win a race where they beat the best driver in the series, well, that's more. I think that's more of a bragging right than having 1,000 wins on iRacing.
Yeah, and the thing with iRating is important when you're doing kind of league, or not league races, but when you're doing official races, because it kind of gives you a gauge of what the people around you are doing, and kind of what they're capable of during races. Of course, you have your people that are 8K, 9K, and those people are going to be insane. But um, you've got other people that run like one specific car track combo, and they're just good at that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got people who just don't do official races that much anymore. And I think that's where league racing, you kind of see these iRating mixed fields, because number one, you don't have an algorithm doing it. As you see, Dustin Barton, it's like he got up in the wall. He's continuing on, but yeah, you kind of get these good field differences where you kind of have these drivers who you maybe wouldn't expect based off of an arbitrary number to be running up front, but they are. So
that's exactly.
Yeah, league racing is
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going for there. And you were talking about 13 here. He does have some significant damage. I think we're starting to see the tires push up this track. And being a concrete track, the difference on concrete can make a rolling difference. And the 68 seems to be trying to close down. So Dustin Barton off 7. If he comes down pit road, does he take the arbitrary fast repair this early in the race, or does he take a moment to try to figure out what he has as repairs go?
I think it depends on the outlook of the race. I personally wouldn't take the fast repair unless you're absolutely dogging down the straightaways. He could just be kind of uncomfortable and try to find his groove. Some people maybe join the practice late because, as I mentioned, the Cup Series race kind of getting delayed, and maybe people trying to stick around for that. But yeah, I think the fast repair is a good option, but ultimately you don't want to be caught out near the end of the race without a fast repair and have a big accident come up with 20 to go when everyone's on fresh tires.
Turn 4 is becoming a doozy. The number 1, we watched him get into the wall there as well. He's got some significant right side. Sid Kisheshi in behind 19 has the same right side front damage there. Looks like James Lawson to pit road. He's got no front clip. He's got some damage. Maybe it didn't seem like he towed. Did he accidentally use his fast repair already? Makes me wonder. Davey Hendricks out front. Makes me want to races. He says not sorry on it. I like it. I like it.
Oh, James Lawson used his fast repair under the crash he had with the 14 car. Who's caught up on the outside of him.
Man, oh man. 66 looking for getting some stuff fixed. Man. Dustin Barton tail end of the field, trying to make it work. Jason Benson took over that spot as well. Gary Sargent making it work. Gary, I think, started from the pits, came out with everybody else. AJ Binish. I know we said this last week, but there's the 7. It's got a little line in Kugel. I know how to say that, but I can't pronounce people's names sometimes. 68 of John Barton's the driver he's tracking down. These drivers still up a few spots. Nick Biddy's still the biggest mover of the race. Ileana Hamilton or that throwback Hellman Chevrolet paint scheme from the old Dale Jr. days. Still out there. That paint scheme's still out there being ran today. It does look like he's fallen off since, or they've fallen off since P2. So 5 spots dropped. John Still trying to work off Davey Hendricks, but Davey having those top 5 nights, well, it's coming out to be the advantage. He's out front by 1.2 seconds. Into turn 1 he goes.
Yeah, Davey's come out strong. Had 3 wins in the first 3 races that we scored points. We've had drivers come along to this league, specifically Skylar Carnes, who, when we were running the ARCA cars, would win 2 races, wouldn't win a race, then would win 2 races again, then would lose the next one, just for the entire season. So he won a majority of the races. So potentially on the heels of having another one of another one of those seasons like that for Davey Hendricks, kind of coming in and kind of pulling out one of those performances.
Thomas, thank you for the like out there. Ollie the Mongol said, sad I'm missing this one. Have a good race. Well, I tell you what, we're sad to not have you there as well. Make sure that you keep coming back and enjoying yourself. Thank you so much for being out there. Much love. I got Twitch having some fun out there. Thank you so much to everybody doing what you do. Big love to everybody out there for making our platform what it is. Keep it rolling. Keep things going. And keep that stream running. And if you are here after the fact, after watching the NASCAR race, and you're tuning back in, thank you for tuning back in. Our replay value is just as high as our live views, which I like, and I like seeing that people get back in after the fact and talk about the race, and then get back in and enjoy it. Folks, tomorrow night we're going to be with the NTRL Series. We're going to be back here at the same track for the Truck Series. So the International Virtual Racing League is going to have the HMG Innovations Truck Series on Monday night. Tuesday, the Go Racing Legends should be back at in the trucks as well. Wednesday, we're going to be doing our fun run like we normally do. We're going to be Irwindale, and I'm probably going to broadcast that one as a good old fun race, just to have a special event, because I want to do that. And we might spend some time going through official races, watching the official races, and maybe broadcasting and commentating some of the official races. We'll see which one they throw us in, and we'll check out what people are doing. Well, I don't know. That'll be Wednesday. We'll see what we do Wednesday. It might be a lot of fun. But Thursday night, back at it again for the Chop Shop Xfinity Series. So double dip in the Xfinity Series each week. No Toad Racing League on Sunday, then Thursdays for the Chop Shop Racing League. Chop Shop's going to have a Cup Series starting here on Sundays as well. That'll be really early in the afternoon, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, coming up here very shortly. So we're going to be working with that as well. That's going to be a lot of fun to run. And then Friday night, our first of many podcasts to come. They're going to be trying to run. Rob Hattenbach, the 4 car, has got some speed, but something that's impressing me, the 023 or the 23 of Terry Brooks Jr. is running collectively faster laps than the race leader right now.
Yeah, that could be a good sign to come. He's one of our drivers who came over from a 1987 league. So he came over, used to run in those 1987 cars. So tire wear is a main component of those. So you could be seeing that kind of coming back here later in the run, with him kind of maintaining the pace.
87s are such a tough car. They're a lot of fun, but they're a tough car. Davey has really put on the speed here. He's outstretched his hand. John fell back to third. Alan Dixon has made up some time here. He's up 3 spots his last lap, 32.7, to try to get around John, which has allowed Terry Brooks to catch up as well. Nick Biddy still up 7. Does have Justin Malarkey trying to be in the hunt back here, but it does look like Nick Biddy is trying to track down Hattenbach. Hattenbach in 5th, and there goes Nick to the inside.
Yeah, Dixon is one of our drivers that's been around for a long time. I am 22 years old, so I was not here when the league was founded, but he has been racing for NTRL for a long time. He might, I'm kind of fuzzy on the stats, but he has not won in a while, and he is pretty up there in the win category. I think he's got something like 40 or something wins back in the NR 2003 and NR 2002 days. So he's a hot shoe, but hasn't been in victory lane for a while. Tonight might be his night.
I tell you what, always a ton of fun to know the history of this series and to know the history of what these drivers have been able to do. Speaking of points, we need to talk about speaking of stats, we need to talk about points. Right there, No Toad Racing League in the middle of your screen. Let me drop down that real quick. And drop down that real quick so you can get a clear view. Davey Hendricks currently with 3 wins in the series for the Xfinity Series. Oliver Turin, Kobe Sutphin, and Michael Redding, John Crutchley. That's the way it looks for the top 5. You talk about Alan Dixon. He's tied for 6 over Matt with 98 points. And he's trying to have that solo position. So Alan may be trying to push a little bit more here to try to find. So Davey has 4 top 5s. 4 top 10s, and 3 wins in the series. His first win that did not happen was last week, and that was Justin Malarkey, who won the first race of me coming back to stream for the No Toad Racing League. So good love, good fun for the drivers. 4 of 12 events, so this is the 5th race of the season. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. So Davey's still trying to be the class of the field. He's got these cars figured out, but Alan Dixon behind might try to pull something out of the wake of a pit strategy call here. We'll see as Terry Brooks looks to run the high side here. 33 into pit road.
I don't know how I feel about them pitting at this point because we had the caution where they were able to save fuel. They might be cutting it close here, so we might see some fuel strategies coming into the race here. Kind of your drivers that you expect to be good with fuel that are in the race, or someone like AJ Binish, who's had some wins taken away from him for pulling out an excellent fuel strategy and just getting unlucky with a late race yellow.
Davey Hendricks out front is saying, "Hey, I'm good. We're good for a little while." Sid Kasheshian's going to take over second here. The 19 rolls. Crutchley up to 3rd. And the distance is about 12 seconds that separate 3rd to your race leader right now. And maybe opportunities for these drivers to try to find some stuff. Now we're going to have a mix of tires and fuel. Sounds like the 88's letting off and coming down. He is.
Yeah, I like extending, of course, because it kind of puts you in a good window with fuel. So yeah, the later you can stay out, the better. There does come a point where that, maybe isn't the smartest idea, but that's definitely something that you want to take advantage of throughout the run, is just kind of being able to stretch maybe that 1 lap or 2 laps, because come to the end of the race, if you do need to save, that puts you much closer to actually making it near the end of the race.
Well, John Barton's trying to put himself in position here. Everybody's a little bit tight right now as far as old tires. 68 trying to stay low here. Looks like he wanted to go higher there to be able to continue to run his natural line, but some lap traffic and making it very difficult for him. So I think he's like, you know what, I'm just going to come to pit road.
I think the 23 is going to get an unsafe pit exit. Terry Brooks, he was coming out of pit road, and that's what my reaction was too. He was coming out and he clipped the grass and almost slid back up into the racetrack. Terry
Brooks on the pit road, maybe unsafe pit exit. That's going to be a stop and hold. According to iRacing rules, we'll see if that actually plays a factor here. We'll see if he hits his pit stop and it's a stop and hold, or if it's going to be a stop and go. It's a stop and hold. He's going to take it. AJ coming around. He's your race leader. The number 7 came in on lap 4, and he's still looking to try to hold on to what he has. Maybe put some folks in a precarious situation. If a caution were to come out, that might benefit him. But Davey Hendricks, he's back out front. Fastest lap of the race. It was just ran by the 99. 30.79 on the relative. And that Xbox throwing machine is looking to do more. A little right rear damage from a little bump there, it does look like. He comes around. We'll take a look. He does. He got a little crinkle there.
We got Jonathan Brugg in the YouTube chat saying something along the lines of how tight the car was. Potentially a setup thing with the Xfinity car where the setup was really tight. So that would be really, really tough for the drivers here trying to, keep that right front on it. I don't know, what these drivers are going through. I haven't done the Xfinity car on Nashville, but that potentially could be playing into the race here.
I like to hear it. KPTV 75. That's my buddy KP Kelly Pointer. What does it cost to join the league? He's asking out there. He asked a little while ago, about a minute ago. So this league is their premier league. So in order to run in this league, from what I was described just a moment ago, you have to make sure that you have run in one of their other series to do that. What does it cost? I don't have a clue. I don't talk money. What's up, KP? Good to see you out there, my friend, on YouTube. Hey, guess what? Subs are enabled on Facebook now, and I love it. That's a huge milestone and a weight lifted off my back. I'm happy about that. I'm enjoying the fact that we've been able to build something so cool. AJ to pit road now. He's going to fall a few spots. Maybe put the pressure on Davey Hendricks here.
AJ actually spun coming on a pit road, so he lost a ton of time. But to answer the question about what does this league cost, it's costs nothing. If you want to join, it is free. Just to be accepted for the Xfinity Series, you just got to do a couple races in the ARCA and the 87 Series and kind of just get a stamp of approval. It's just kind of a litmus test to make sure that you don't get people in here who think they can take every corner flat out.
I'll vouch for KP. I will vouch for that, man. He's one of my buddies. Justin Barton, 68, or John Barton. Actually, John, I think, just DC'd. John Barton maybe having an issue there. I'm not quite sure. Something happened there. Like he went on and off track on 48. I had to come back down. So maybe that was another penalty that happened there. I'm not quite sure. So right now, AJ being tracked down by Davey to not be a lap, from leading to almost going a lap down on the 88, and right behind the 42 of Jason Benson trying to get around the 88. Benson came in on 42, so he's on the same lap time as that driver. So Terry Brooks ran his fastest lap of the race just a moment ago, 31.10. So Terry's starting to figure some things out. He's faster than Davey right now. That makes for some interesting runs here. Maybe some change. Now, Terry, of course, had that pit road speeding penalty, or that unsafe exit right there, and now is trying to make up all that ground. So, in that point, do you drive like a PO teenager, or do you just try to make it work?
So we have 4 sets of tires, so I think it is in the cards to kind of drive like a PO teenager. Yeah, you don't want to get caught because he is currently 2 laps down. So if he can get himself in a position where he's only 1 lap down, that would be way more beneficial. So that could be his goal potentially. But yeah, just at a really hard disadvantage here. Just needs to somehow find a way to kind of get him on that 1 lap down.
The adjusted sets probably made for a day, Tim. It's not a bad idea. Georgia driver in second. Alan Dixon rolling. Dixon's been fast. He's been consistent. He's been trying to make up that time. KP does like the 87. So you've been doing a lot of different tracks here lately, and it's always good to see KP. It's always good. KP TV 75. If you want to find him on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, he does YouTube driving tutorials and talks about tracks like that. Go check his stuff out. Maybe you should we need to get you doing some more reviews and stuff like that, KP. I got content ideas for you for days, brother.
It's a real shame for AJ Binish to kind of spin there. I mean, he's probably would have been about 14, 15 seconds off the leader, and he's currently 29 seconds with Davey Hendricks kind of looming in his mirror a couple seconds back. So going from kind of a four lap overlap on strategy to being almost a lap down is not where he was expecting to be.
Not after the run here, but again, it's a 1.3 mile track, and that's something to take into consideration here. We're running lap times that are similar to what a mile and a half would run. Xfinity cars usually run about 32 to 33 second laps, and as the tires fall off, it goes up to about 35 second laps. Here we're seeing the quality of what this track can do, and the corners are what make or break this one. 18 degrees on average for the track here, and it's been and it shows, because it shows that the more flat the track is, the more it runs. I mean, there's harder banking at Bristol and Dover than there is at this racetrack.
Yeah, this is the racing here is very unique. Like I said, I haven't raced here in Xfinity in a minute, but I've done this track with the 87 cars, so those really stick out, because you got these corners that you're really focused on kind of getting around, and they're very tight and constricting, and then you get on these straightaways that are almost the same length of a mile and a half, so it's very kind of off-putting, kind of the racing here. It doesn't really race like a 1.3 mile or 1.5 mile track. It races more like a Phoenix or a Richmond kind of track, where it's a short track, but not really.
Alrighty, folks, it's that time of the race. We're about halfway, and before we do so, I want to make sure I talk about Nerds Doing Nerd Things. That is my caution sponsor. Didn't talk about it earlier when we had that caution, but Nerds Doing Nerd Things, they've got a podcast every Friday morning that you want to go make sure you take a look at it, talking about everything nerdy. And once we're past the halfway mark here, we're gonna play their commercial and have a good little look at that. But man, oh man, a lot of folks still in the race. We've got 17 drivers out there running, and 5 that have decided to call it quits for the day. 2 laps down for Terry Brooks because of the penalty, but he is moving through the field like he owns them, and he's right behind Justin Malarkey, who's in 6th. So opportunity missed on the pit strategy, or on the pit road exit there. But when you clip that grass down there, you can clip it on the inside, and you can also run across it by accident on the outside of that lane. So you got to kind of make sure that you take your time coming off pit road. As much as you want to get out there and get racing, taking your time sometimes at this track might actually make it work. Davey Hendricks below onto the asphalt, concrete above, and the darker portion is asphalt. You see how that wears. Concrete typically wears the track a little bit more because of the groove surface that they have done here, and nighttime racing has shown that the tighter car prevails.
Yeah, and speaking of the grass and stuff, I'm kind of shocked to have seen 2 accidents, or not accidents, but more incidents where people kind of gotten wide. We had the aforementioned Terry Brooks kind of getting wide exiting, and then we had AJ Binish kind of overcooking it coming in and getting into the grass. So yeah, showing that getting on the pit road, it's very, it's a thing that you need to practice. It's the thing that you can gain a lot of time with, or it's a thing that you can absolutely ruin your race with. So yeah, just a mistake by 2 drivers.
Is it more easier to know that occasionally that, all right, that driver got into me, I can accept that, but when you make your own mistake, is that harder to deal with as a driver, or is it more of a standpoint where you're just like, all right, I have to accept that as well?
I think it depends on the person. I think you got some people who are just here to have fun, and they don't really take anything too seriously. You got people who just kind of get on a pit road kind of safe, and then you got other people that kind of attack those pit entrances. I think people that you see attack the pit entrances, they might be a little bit harder on themselves, because they kind of mess up their entry, and they go, oh man, instead of gaining a couple tenths, I should have just backed it down and just safely made it in. But yeah, it's just it's one of those things that
right.
It's a balance.
96 disrupted the line for the 33 there for a moment. He lost a lot of time to the 99 behind him, and lost a lot of time to Davey Hendricks in front of him. Cat and mouse game going on here, folks. Before we get back into it, there's the 99. He's starting to track him down. 1.3 seconds was the relative. It was 1.7 seconds back from the 33 of Alan Dixon. But now he can really see him in his windshield. Folks, I'm going to be right back with you. We're going to take a vocal break. Make sure you hydrate. We're going to play a commercial. We're going to let these guys run for a moment.
From From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
Davey Hendricks out there putting a whooping on him. About 4.8 seconds back, but now I talked about Alan Dixon being about 5 seconds off the pace of Davey Hendricks. Something has happened with the lap times over the course of the last 3 or 4 laps. We're at 66 of 120, and they've really slowed down. 32.3 for Davey Hendricks' last lap, 31.80. So that 0.5 of a second that we were talking about before now coming into play. And these cars just, when we were first watching this race, they were just cruising. And right now, it feels like they are just inching around the track. The speed just seems not to be there. And you can almost make out the letters on the tire. And that's the way this track has been working.
Yeah, and you're also seeing a lot of people with that right side damage just from tagging the wall. You see a lot of the people that are more up towards the front that kind of have the cars kind of clean, but you see we've got a lot of people that have kind of fallen out of this race or multiple laps down. You got, John Barton who's out. You got Dustin Barton who's out. You've got Johnny Brook who's out. You've got James Lawson who's out from crash damage. You got Marshall Harris who's out from crash damage. All of those are related to wall contact. 3 of those are accidental contacts that didn't bring out a caution. So that's the thing that you just got to be careful with, is just kind of not getting that push and kind of hitting the exit, and then also kind of keep the tires under it, so you're balancing a bunch of little different things here.
Always good time. KP, thank you for the share out there, brother, on Facebook. Caleb Patton out there in there getting that like out there. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very much. I appreciate everybody being out there. Thank you to everybody on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. Pit Road here is very different and challenging. Absolutely. You're assuming it's on it is on everything is on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube every single week until I make the level of partner on one of the platforms that forces me to be on one platform. So we'll see which one that happens first. Hopefully that becomes the thing one of these days. I would love to see that. 88 seems to be clutching it into turn 1 and 2. It seems like that might be his late race play here. He's got 5.3 seconds over Dixon. Dixon was catching there for a moment. Maybe had to have a full send moment there for a little bit. Now 0.2 of a second separate the lap times between the first and second place. John, who was about 1.2 seconds to the rear, away from the. Ooh, John gets into the wall as we go. We give him the commentator's curse. Not only did he hit the wall, but Rob Hattenbach, he came in camera focus and he tapped the wall as well.
Yeah, just kind of getting that. What's the word I'm looking for? You're looking at something and you just follow them straight into it.
That's you get tunnel vision. Ryan Cooper having an issue. He had to jump to pit road as well. I don't know, maybe he got spun around or something like that. He had an issue. Having to jump to his pit. Yeah, you get tunnel vision driving sometimes whenever the race feels longer than what it really is. And maybe that might be the case here. Maybe these drivers are kind of feeling like this is getting, it's a lot longer than, not really than it should be. Then it just seems like it's very spread out and very repetitious right now. So the battles are less and less likely to be there. Nick Biddy up 8. It's going to have the 23, still trying to hunt for his position back. Looking forward to seeing what this battle is going to be. Of course, we're getting close to that pit stop limit here. We're talking about 36 laps when it came from the basic stage before. They ran all the way to about 40 to 42 for most of the drivers, but we had a 5-lap caution period in there where they had to slow down and get themselves taken care of. Most of the drivers came in on pit road on 4. I think we're going to start seeing AJ Benish came in on 47. He's the driver that no doubt is trying to do something different.
Yeah, AJ is very, very good at saving fuel. We had we have a league funding race where we just It's a money race where you kind of pay to enter in. If you pay in, you can win some money. But he clutched the entire race at Las Vegas and was able to stay within a tenth of uh, a fast lap time and saved somewhere around 4 or 5 laps of fuel. So
Yeah.
so he knows how to save fuel. I would be really concerned if someone doesn't stretch it past lap 80. Hopefully someone, if you're trying to make it to the end and only one more stop, kind of pitting 81, 82. So that's about where I would be hoping you'd be coming down. Because if you come in the next, 4 laps and not stretch it past that point, I'd be really concerned with not making enough fuel to the end of the race.
I think Davey Hendricks is probably going to go to 84. I think if he can make it, or 80, at least to 80. If he makes it to 80 or 82, he's going to have a 40-lap stint there. KP says he was in a next-gen car earlier at this track, and it was in an open setup with hundreds of laps, so I know how much is on that one right now. It's crazy. How many laps do these cars get on a full tank? These cars get, what is it, 60, 65, 66 laps on a full tank here at this track? Wait. 65, 66 laps on a full tank. And right now they're running 65% fuel. So that's pretty much the manage right there that you're seeing. You're seeing roughly about 42 to 44 laps on a guesstimated pit stop. But when we see 40 and 42, I'm more inclined to see 80, 81 out of these drivers to be able to put 40 on this race line. That is going to be the most important factor here when it comes to late race manageability. Davey Hendricks, one of those drivers that is looking at that himself.
Yeah, I asked a couple people before the race started. I know a couple people in this race. The fuel range that I got was somewhere around 38 to 40 laps. So I was hearing more 38 if you're not doing anything special. So I think, kind of stretching it that late, like you said, is very crucial to kind of having a successful race here in the end.
I think part of what we're seeing here out of the 88 is he's clutching it early in his run, so we can run a little bit longer in the end. That's what I was talking about earlier. Let's go on board with some of these racers and look at the cockpit view and listen. He's clutched. He is so clutched.
Yeah, and with that big of a lead, a couple laps ago it was 4 seconds. Now it's currently at 6 seconds. Yeah, he's got no pressure, so he has the luxury of being able to kind of be able to clutch here, and he's actually been able to kind of gap while clutching. So he's kind of putting himself in the perfect position here. Yeah, we've got another retirement to add to the list. It's Brian Cooper. Looks like he kind of got a little loose off a corner, and I don't know if he's just kind of had a little bit of a fed up moment with that setup. It seems like the people are complaining about it being super tight, and just left, or if he had some sort of overheating issue from damage.
The possibilities are endless on that one. 98, 99, there's the battle going on right here. 99 trying to hold on to his position, but Rob Hattenbach pulls up 6 more spots, and the 98 trying to do some damage here. Here's the 46 to the inside. Slide job city from Nick Biddy, and the 97 of Justin Malarkey. So John was up there. He was running decently, and now all these drivers have pretty much caught him. Ileana coming to pit road, first of the takers as 81 begins. And that will be your factor. Alan Dixon to pit road. No doubt that was going to happen. Davey Hendricks will be out there running a little bit more. That car sounds so quiet coming around the corner before he releases that clutch.
Yeah, anybody pitting this lap, I would be, or actually, no, I think pitting this lap's kind of like the earliest point to where you can kind of make it to the end. So looks like most people here are kind of getting close enough on fuel to where they're being able to make it. Oh, Biddy just got spun.
Nick Biddy. Caution comes out at the worst time ever for some of these drivers that are on pit road, needing to now leave pit road before they get lapped. unfortunate circumstances. So some drivers who did not come to pit road are going to be looking at maybe being a lap down here. And on top of that, the ones who did come in, they're going to be trying to get a free pass. But Alan Dixon came in on 81. He can stay out and no doubt be your new race leader. Oh, man. KP, thank you for the shares out there as well. All right, folks, caution.
Yeah, it's fortunate there for Alan Dixon, but yeah, just that accident in the backstretch was, I don't know, defensive, but also kind of also late move. I've chalked it up to just a racing incident, but it looks like we've got, Alan Dixon looks like he has scored one lap down, but you should get the wave.
And that is from second to being in that position is unmanageable. All right, here's what happened. This is Nick Biddy, who was outside inside the 97 here. It was pulling a slide job city there for a moment, trying to get around everybody. 97 battles here to the outside. Nick slides up kind of late a little bit. 97 to the back quarter panel. He's going to be right there on the. Ooh, I think that was just a little bit of close racing where Justin Malarkey was still just a little bit in the gas. They both kind of let off the gas at the same time. He was trying to follow that line down, and the 46 rolled into the corner. Didn't just kind of got him loose. That was almost not worth a caution there. Mandarin, good to see you out there. KP and James, keep chatting it up. Much love to you. Back to live here. Alan Dixon looking for a free pass or a lucky dog. Free pass. He is not going to be your lucky dog. So he's going to get a free pass. Rob Hattenbach. John is going to be there as well. The 24 of Matt Piercini is going to be there as well. Scott Kelly, Ileana Hamilton. Jason Benson on pit road. Terry Brooks on pit road again as well. Terry was your lucky dog, though, I do believe. Looking at the laps here. I think so. No, Jason must have been your lucky dog. Jason Benson was your lucky dog, so he's going to be looking at that. Terry Brooks able to get to pit road, so he's taking care of that. Davey Hendricks will be your race leader once again. Oh, man. Crazy.
Yeah, so we've had 4 sets of tires, and we're going to have 3 pit stops here. So if there is a caution kind of 10, 15 laps in, you got a choice in your hands and whether or not you're going to risk it and think there's going to be even a later caution, or if you're just going to put on the fresh tires. But yeah, just a avoidable caution, but you know, it's a racing deal. It's, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a lot of things that are going to happen here. Just got to wait for the iRacing scoring stuff to go through.
You know, iRacing doing what iRacing does best. Keeping us waiting for more stuff. No, totally joking. All right. Lights are off on the pace car. We're going to go back to double file here. 88.97, 46.19, 48.7. That will be your front 6. And what this does, it gives everybody a chance to look at the back bumper of the 88 one more time. And while he says not sorry, you know that jump's coming.
Yeah, but you never know throughout the race. You got a lot of people that are really good learners, you know, people who maybe don't put in a lot of practice because, you know, they either have, you know, full-time jobs or their dads or, you know, they've got multiple responsibilities. You maybe have people who've, you know, throughout the course of the race have just been learning because we are on a fixed setup. So, yeah, just because he's been out front this whole time doesn't mean that he's going to stay up there, as we see the 46 is lagging a little bit.
KP, thank you for the 500 stars out there. He says, make sure you share, follow, and love this page. Much love to you, brother. Thank you so much for the 500 stars. Hashtag KP's in chat for me. I appreciate you. Kelly Pointers Motorsports giving us a bunch of shares. You guys have shared this thing 32 times today. Thank you so much. We're back at it, though. Green flag waves. And I tell you what, I went from not feeling good to feeling all right now. Thank you so much, everybody, for being supportive of the stream. Kyle gets a cut of that, so share more. We're gonna share our earnings with Kyle. We need to do that. Kyle's been doing a good job. First time for a consistent co-commentator in a little bit. So Mr. Grzech has been killing it. So you know, you gotta love having that.
Oh,
that,
Gary
oh
charging the
man,
wall.
I saw
That was a
it.
heavy hit.
He saved it. Dang. IWT 28 there at the 42 to the inside. How many laps can you do this battle before you need to get up the racetrack? That's the big factor. That's the big factor I'm seeing here.
Yeah, it seems like running up the racetrack is kind of easier on the tires, and also kind of helps you maintain the momentum. But you know, kind of running that bottom just kind of forces that person on the outside to not be able to diamond, as we see 3 wide here with Harrison and Benson, as Benson kind of backs out to let that go 2 wide.
33 of Dixon driving like a PO teenager, ready to go. Fastest laps of their own race right now. Justin Malarkey finds his pace, able to get up there and now run with Davey Hendricks. We watched Malarkey take that right side damage earlier, and this was the battle last week too. Maybe the 97 of Justin Malarkey says, you know what, I can get out here and run with this guy. Sid ran his fastest lap of the race as well. He ran a 31:07. AJ Benish running a 30:85. Fastest lap of the race for all of the drivers is roughly, I think AJ had that lap. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was not. It was John, and the 99 ran a 30.79, so that's the lap to beat if they want to do it. The later in the race we go, the better off we're going to be. Half second between Hendricks and Malarkey when they were just a tenth. What happens here with Malarkey? Does he need to find a better pace? Because right now he's got a little bit of nose crinkle after taking his fast repair, I do believe, or getting his damage repaired from that right side. Did he get into the back bumper of the 88? Maybe you just have to check it up a little bit.
Oh, Malarkey was involved in that last caution, so that's all damage from getting into Nick Biddy entering turn 3. So, yeah, Malarkey's just one of those guys who just doesn't show up for a little bit, and then he comes back, and then you kind of forget about him, and then all of a sudden he just is all the way up at the front and he wins the race.
He finds a good sense of speed, I think. Well, he doesn't have just the plain paint scheme. He's got a couple of logos on there now.
Oh, he's got sponsors. I remember his just plain white ARCA car that he'd run with a little bit of green on it.
I like
There's
it.
There's something very funny about kind of people running just base iRacing schemes and just being competitive. It's just kind of a funny sight. But yeah, your paint scheme has nothing to do with your driving habit unless you're a person who runs the DuPont scheme in a ARCA E-split race.
Oh, Davey Hendricks. Not sorry about his speed. Reese's 88, Malarkey and his own biohazard simple paint scheme behind. The 19 of Sid driving the DeWalt paint scheme. A little Stanley love going on for the Ford. Nick Biddy in the 46 has a little bit of rear damage. He is full send mode for the I'm watching the 7 and the 46. Sorry, I had to pause there. It made me anxious. He's got a little line of Kugel there. Line of Kugel inside. Little Johnsonville pool room going on right there.
Yeah, Nick Biddy, the most famous driver out of Dawsonville, Georgia.
Dawsonville, yeah. Oh, man.
Look that up.
Georgia getting in the chats right there. Folks, keep chatting it up out there. I love seeing you guys do so. Make sure you do it. Something just fell off. I'm guessing the setup was made for day, like you said, and then it was probably tight to begin with, but the night temperatures will do that, and this track just typically drives tighter. It's worse in the trucks.
Oh, we got contact. 83 of Christopher Harrison just got tapped by the 33 of Alan Dixon. Alan kind of just missed the bottom line there, washed up the track a little bit, and hit the 83 in the left rear.
The threes getting involved. Holly Farms pottery, or not pottery, poultry. I read that wrong. I knew it said poultry, and I went, oh, that's pottery. Yeah, appreciate you. All right, caution, folks.
No helicopter awards.
No, you're absolutely right. No helicopter award so far, and that's going to be interesting to see. If we get one. If we don't get one, that's okay. It just moves on to next week. All right, that was Nick Biddy in the 80. Ooh, that was a long time ago. That was what happened to him there. Christopher Harrison, here it is. Sorry about that, folks. I clicked on the wrong dang old button. Let's see the run here. 83 up high, 33 drops in, tight in the corner. Oh, I think the 83 was still coming down for corner entry. Let's go overhead. We're going to take a look at that. 83 stayed really high there. A little far chase view. I call this the RC move. Race controller. Look, 83 drops in the corner, has the turn. 33's, oh, he did come up a little bit. Got a little net code involved there. 83 was still holding that second lane while the 33 was trying to get there. So the 33 looks to be a little at fault there. Little tire hitting the bottom of that apron. That's what happens to the bottom of that apron, folks. When you hit that tire, when you hit your tires below that exit or below that corner, you're going to see that right there. You're going to see that exactly happen. Ileana driving one of my favorite paint schemes, little Hellman's mayonnaise, or Hellman's salad dressing. Let's call it what it is. No, I'm totally joking. I just like that paint scheme. It's been one of my favorite Xfinity Series paint schemes for a long time. Because Junior was running it, and also because when I met Dale Jr. outside of the racetrack one time, it was at a convenience store. He had his fan vote thing that they got it was a contest they had, and they were traveling around with the Xfinity Series Hellman's Mayonnaise car to each of the racetracks, and they were going from the West Coast somewhere else. I couldn't remember where they were going, but they were traveling through I-70, and they stopped in my town where I was living at Glenwood Springs, Colorado. They pulled it into a convenience store that was over there because somebody needed something or whatever the case may be. But there was Dale's bus and this couple, and they were all traveling together, and it was really, really, really stinking cool. Never expected that in a million years, because normally drivers fly from location to location. They get there when the hauler sets up, and because they take a couple of days off. But he was actually traveling with them, and it was absolutely incredible to see. And that's first time if I saw that car, that paint scheme, and I got to meet the family, and I got to meet the drivers, and got an autographed ball cap from Dale Jr. Most humbling experience from a driver that I've ever seen. I like Dale. And that's probably what made me a bigger fan of Dale Jr. was being able to meet him and know that what he is in real life. Yes, he's probably a butthead sometimes, but what he is in real life, he shows up on the track and provides that. Somebody's getting a free pass here, and he needs it.
Yeah, it looks like Jason Benson got the free pass. Terry Brooks stayed out, so he's going to be back on the lead. I think he's going to be one lap down this time by. So that's really good news for him if we get a quick caution, because I think also, depending on when the caution comes out, he might get fresh tires here, and he might be at a tire advantage coming through the field if that caution comes out. But yeah, Dale Jr., one of the nicest guys in the entire field. I luckily also got to get a picture with him. He was coming out of the broadcast booth at Richmond, and just happened to see like two people freaking out over somebody, and I realized it was Dale. He was getting ready to drive away, and the thing that everyone should exercise at home is ask, hey, can you do this? Not, demand stuff out of the drivers. I asked if it was okay if I took a picture with him, and he said, yep, and took a picture with him. Got a quick little like, hey man, love the podcast, fist bump, and he, said, hey, have a safe drive home, and off we went.
When I ran into him, it wasn't even I saw everything that was outside, but at the time I had been working for the Garfield County Sheriff's Office as in the bailiff position and doing court stuff over there, and then I was trying to become a canine officer through Citadel over there. And it was just me going in between court, and I was between court breaks, and I was trying to get something to drink for my lunch break, and it was just a happenstance thing, you know. I actually turned around. I was walking up to the door, and I ended up opening the door, and there he was, and I was like, oh, I didn't even actually think he was there. I was like, oh, very cool, the holler and all that stuff's out there, and I opened the door, and there he is, and I'm like, all right, and he's short.
He was sitting in a golf cart for me, so I have no reference of height wise. But yeah, Davey went really early. Oh, we got a crash in the back, Gary Sargent.
Oh no, Gary's involved here. Backed around. I was getting ready to ask you after of course the green flag run there, and I was hoping they were going to get settled. I was going to ask you when you thought the next caution was going to be statistically here. 20 laps to go. We're getting down to the point where everybody's going to be a little bit more aggressive. Malarkey, and that might be good for Davey Hendricks, but it might not be. Kendra, thank you for the hydrates out there. I went ahead and redeemed those. Thank you so much for all that. Dang old dang. He is 5'10", yeah. I mean, okay, so I am like, I'm tall. Okay. I am tall, so these personalities are bigger than life, and 5'10" is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, it's average height for most folks, and I've seen folks that are, 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", just be larger than life. But when you're 6'3", 6'4", and you go, all right, you tend to look at people and go, all right, you have such a big personality, you're such a big dude, like it'd be awesome. Great benefit for Terry Brooks here, though. He should get the lucky dog, and he should find himself with an opportunity to get some tires. And that's fortunate for the 23. Actually, he should have been the lucky dog, right? He wasn't involved in that. I don't know. Let's go back. We'll take a look.
He might have made contact with the 28 just by netcode. I swear he didn't touch him, but maybe he got a 0x there, kind of passing the accident.
Oh, something happened to 28. Oh, he did. He got a net code. Let him go around. Something happened to Gary there, and it was rough. Hold on. That was rough. Let me back this up. Something happened to his wheel. Or something. He went right.
We're seeing a lot of people. I was just about to make a comment about it just before I noticed Gary kind of veer into frame and hit the wall. There's a lot of snap oversteer exiting these corners, so I do think that was just him kind of trying to get hard on the gas.
It did. It snapped. Yep, you're absolutely right. We're watching on board here. He was drifting. It sounded like he was drifting out of the racetrack, and man. So Terry Brooks to come to pit road. Unfortunate for him getting a 0x. He looked to avoid that, and dang it. David forgot about the restart zone. Yes, he did.
I don't think we've enabled that for this series. I'm unsure, but that would have been a definite penalty. But yeah, just go when the pace car goes off. I'm glad they introduced the restart zone because I am a single monitor man, and I don't like having to look over to the left and having to gauge when the pace car's in. So I know when the inside car is going. I like having that designated shorter restart zone. I think that's more fair for everybody.
I like the fact that if they use a restart zone, it'll give a guarantee. If the race leader goes in before the restart zone, then everybody can gauge that. But I like the idea of it penalizing somebody, though, if they're not utilizing the restart zone. That right there, I want these leaders to be accounted for it, because if you just go when the pace car's off, that right there becomes a cat and mouse chase. And when it comes to league racing and stuff like, not just league racing, but even in officials, when it's tracks like this where you need every inch to be able to keep yourself in that better judgment and that better guess line, then that kind of makes things a little bit more. And we talk about this being a simulator and being a quote unquote a video game. And we talk about iRatings, how people survive or min-max themselves. A lot of drivers do it just like that. They get a huge jump, and with 10 laps to go, or 5 laps to go, they know that somebody's not going to come after them. They know they're not going to be able to do it because they're going to be able to maintain for, unless of course they make a mistake. But most of the time it's by leader. Well, I'll just battle for second here.
Yeah, you got a lot of tracks where the restarts are a problem. Where if you're the inside lane and you kind of get that jump, you're gone. There's no chance for the outside to kind of catch you. But yeah, no,
except for super
the restart
speedways,
zone.
don't jump on a super speedway.
Oh yeah, that's
that's bad for you. Don't do that. I don't think anybody should ever do that.
Well, I think we've seen it happen once or twice in this league where people think like, okay, it's a restart, I gotta go, and then like they go, and then everyone catches up to them and passes them. So
they go from first to they go from first to 14th.
Yeah, and they lose a bunch of spots, and there's a new pack that's formed. Davey just goes.
And there's just no way to defend that right now. I'm not saying that Davey's doing anything wrong. He's just taking advantage of rate. Stock car racing from the very beginning was all about taking the advantage away from other drivers. That's why you saw cheating and parts manufacturing, things like that in NASCAR in the early days that just kind of made for not so great racing and some dominant names that made a lot of money, making that as interesting as possible without quote unquote cheating. But now this is a game of cat and mouse. Now Davey, when he runs that jump right there, that makes it so that way Malarkey, Kashishian, Dixon, all those guys, they have no clue. They don't know when he's going to punch it.
Almost had a crash in the backstretch. Almost went 3 wide, and person on the low side heard clear, and they started coming up. That was Ileana Hamilton, John Kreidler, and the 34 of Douglas Kelly.
Kreidler trying, yeah. Right. Well, they're already still shaky back there. It's hard to get a routine whenever you have such few laps to go. The 99 to the outside of the 73, 24. Giving a little unfair love to the 73 there. 73 at the racetrack, 24 to the 99. Good run, little rear damage for the 24. 73 drops into the corner. 99 is going to be trying to pull some pace here. 24 might lift up the corner low. He keeps it high. So that's good. Oh, no, not this time. Kreidler getting a little love tap from the 24. 7's going to be right there in the mix. 7 drops in. 99's shaking his bird out the window.
I'm going to have to go back and look at that. I think the 99 just had to check up because he got close to the wall, and he would have been clear coming off the 24 coming up, but yeah, the 99 just maybe slightly got off the gas there.
I don't know. The 24 is getting dangerously close to these cars, and I'm saying that with hey, I'm my perspective, not from their perspective. This is my perspective, folks. When you get a little dangerously close to the vehicle in front of you, you can find yourself not having the right distance when it comes to if a car does check up. Now that's the thing, is that even a little lift of the throttle here puts you, oh man, 19 of Kasheshian hitting the wall there. But you find yourself in a predicament, and it's kind of the way it rolls. Not knocking Hendricks, folks. He's doing what he does. 97 to the 19. They've got a little battle going on here. Dixon back to 4th. So Alan Dixon trying to rebound with 10 laps to go, try to get himself at least back to 2nd. He's been he hasn't had a win in a little while as far as the news goes. Oh man, 19 into the wall again.
Yes, it's kind of putting himself in a position here to let Alan catch him. He was holding pretty tight there with Malarkey, but he just started, like you said, he hit the wall this lap, and he hit the wall a couple laps ago, as we see Alan Dixon kind of washing up the track a little bit. Yeah, let's see if Alan Dixon can catch Kashishian here. We've only got a handful of laps left.
9, making 8 to go. 19 learned his lesson, gets himself straight lined around. Rob Hattenbach on the move onto the bottom side of Nick Benny. Benny been able to hold on for dear life. He's going to find himself to the bottom, and maybe a crossover move on the roll. 46 holding on. 98's going to clear here up to the wall. They go 46 till rolls to the bottom, straight on the bottom of that top lane there, and maybe driving too straight into the exit there. Crutchley in the 48 has been able to roll the low pain scheme around here. Nobody really making too many bold moves except for back here. Creeler right there in the 99's been able to kind of rebound from the situation he had going on, but still not able to hold on. Scott Kelly in the 34 off 2 from the start of the race. John is one of the biggest losses we've seen, except for Johnny Brugg. Johnny Brugg, of course, started 4th. He's in 20th now after having those issues early. Malarkey trying to close the pace with 6 laps to go. What does he need to do there, Kyle?
Well, I think he got put under pressure early, so maybe he burned up his tires a little bit, but you see him holding about 6/10. If I'm Davey, I'm kind of trying to maintain the gap. I'd maybe want a little bit more room than that, but, you know, it could just be that Malarkey is faster. So, yeah, if you're Malarkey, you just need to do perfect laps here, because if you make any mistake, especially at this track, the momentum you need to carry off the corner, you just ruin your shot. As we see the gap kind of maintain and stays the same. Yeah, we got a good battle here for the final step on the podium. We got Dixon close to Kashishian, but you've got a new challenger in Hottenbach kind of on the back bumper of Dixon.
And he's going to get there. Whoa, what a run in for the 98. That almost caused an issue for the 33. It's pulling the drive line off. Everybody has a different drive line here. Rob running about a 10th faster than everybody else. He came out of 97. I bet he had a fresh set. Everybody had a fresh set that came in. The only driver that I was looking to see be able to get back up there and try to compete was the 23. And unfortunate situation for him. He needs a caution here to be back on the lead lap. Maybe battle for a different position here. He's going to be stuck in 16th if that's not the case. And right now, Malarkey needs a full send mode because Hendricks still 6/10 of a second, flirting with 7/10 as they get into turn 1. Malarkey needs more out of this racetrack right now because Hendricks is going to pull away from him again.
Yeah, you're not seeing too much of a difference here lap to lap in the gap. So if you're Malarkey, you got to hope that Hendricks makes a mistake. 'Cause you're doing the most you can at this moment.
2 laps to go. 19 getting a little bit dicey there. 33 to the inside.
I should explain. We have Misak Kashishian. He goes by Sid. So Sid Kashishian on the high side here. He's going to roll off pretty good. Are we going to see 3 wide? No, we're not. The 98 kind of gives up there and is going to try to set him up.
33 is going to force. He's going to force the 19 to be run up the racetrack here. 33 is going to be there. White flag waves. And that's 2 spots lost for the 19. Running hard to the inside. That's what happens. If you stay in that second lane, you're going to get kind of forced up. So Alan Dixon solid in third right now, but Hattenbach's going to be able to try. Davey Hendricks, though, the class act led pretty much every lap of this race other than under a green flag pit stop. And has been able to push it and pull the boundaries here. He's going to come around and win by 7/10 of a second over Justin Malarkey.
Yeah, good win there by Davey Hendricks. That was just a dominating display. 4th win on the season. That's just crazy. We got Malarkey, who won last week, who's finishing in 2nd. And then we've got NTRL veteran Alan Dixon on the podium.
From Augusta, Georgia. Used to live there. I was stationed there. Like it. Love the golf course. Just saying. Terry Brooks, no doubt, needs iRacing to do him a favor.
Yeah, really unfortunate deal there with that contact. It really wasn't contact.
Davey celebrates. We're going over your race results, and that's, of course, brought to you by each and every one of you over here at the No Toad Racing League. Everybody here is absolutely amazing. Congratulations on the race win for Davey Hendricks. Justin Malarkey finished in 2nd. Dixon finishes in third. Congrats on the 33. 98, 19, 46 all finish there in sixth. Now, Sid still was able to rebound for a top five. So, hard racing, just kind of tight the corner. Very nice job for him. Benish in seventh. Piracini in eighth. Hamilton in ninth. And Crutchley in 10th. And we got the 99, 34, 42, 83, 28. That's going to be the next five drivers. Terry Brooks stuck in 16th, a lap down because of a net code thing right there. That just unfortunate for him. He should never have had that happen. Then Brian Cooper, John Barton, all the way through that 18th spot. And Barton, Brugg, Lawson, and then Harris only was out there to be able to complete one lap, so that's unfortunate for him. Let's talk to some people. I think that's a big thing here. This guy, Dave Hendricks, your race winner, 88 wins it. Congrats! I didn't get to see you win last week. Now you're 4 of 5. You've got an 80% batting average. Walk us through the race here.
That was a handful. I honestly, the whole game plan was just to save tires. I felt like on a track like this, it's concrete, it's rough. I feel like it's really easy to overdrive going into the corners. I felt like if I could keep my right front on the car, I'd be in good shape. And that was good for probably the first 3/4 of the race. But then we kept getting short runs, and I had to severely adjust how I had been racing the whole time.
I tell you what, it seemed like tight racing. They said it was a little looser going on. Track temperatures changed. The nighttime set in. Being that it's tight racing and trying to maintain a gap and save fuel, does it make the concrete track a little different?
I mean, it does. I mean, yeah, I mean, there was a good point in the middle of that race to where I was, clutching it and trying to save fuel to make sure I only had to do one more stop. But it's definitely a different feel than what you would get on an asphalt track.
Right, so Davey, that's win number 4 of the season. We were seeing in the chat there is a thing about how tight the car was tonight. Was that a particular issue? And what's your comments on the setup for tonight?
It was definitely tight, but I feel like that's the case all the time for these cars. They always have, I mean, the fixed setups always feel really, really tight. I just tried to, offset it, get off the gas earlier. In 3 and 4, it wasn't as big of an issue, but in 1 and 2, there was a bump to where if you hit it just right, it would send you straight up the track. So if you drove it in a little bit too deep and hit that wrong, your whole corner is screwed and you're losing a 10th or 2. So it was really just trying to manage what the game had given me, tied with, the bumps and grooves of the track and how to make my way around it.
Well, Davey, it is a pleasure to get to talk to you about finishing here, and congratulations on the race win. And look forward to seeing what you're going to be doing next week.
Cool. Thank you.
Always.
Thank
Hey,
you guys.
give you shout outs. It's your time. You got sponsors, people, whatever, family. It's your time. It's your time, Sean, man.
All the admins that put this on, Gary, Naj, and all of them, everyone watching, all the drivers that showed up. I know the NASCAR race maybe put a damper on some of the people showing up, but I still felt like we had a good crowd. High Banks Podcast, I have them as one of my associates on this car. Reaper Speed Labs, same deal. Rhino Ratchets, Roderick Racing Development. You guys up in the booth, and I think that's it.
All right, my man. I appreciate you. Davey, we'll see you next week, and it's going to be a ton of fun.
Yep. See you then.
Awesome. Appreciate you. Let us have some fun with some more drivers here. Actually, I'm getting messages. So, folks, I love you all out there very much. I use Discord as a primary way to communicate with the drivers and to be able to pull people back and forth. I have the notifications and stuff turned off for a reason, but please utilize like before races and before broadcasts to communicate through Discord with me, so that way I don't have things popping up ahead of time. I want to make sure that, because it kicks me out of it sometimes, and I can't stand it. So I love you all very much. So, and I'm not trying to complain during these folks' broadcasts. I promise this is their time to shine. But I want to make sure that that I'm trying to be as respectful as possible to other people, and I've put out everywhere where you can get a hold of me and when you can get a hold of me. So I'm going to say it again as politely as I can, and not try to sound like a butt. But please make sure that you're not messaging me on Discord during the races, so that way I can have things not bounce around for me. I appreciate you. P2 finished for Justin Malarkey today. He had a fantastic race last week. Wins it, comes back. What did you need for the end of this one, my good friend?
I just needed the 88 to make a couple mistakes there, just maybe one or two, but he didn't do it.
You had a tight racetrack, a little bit of nose damage, just kind of playing around with everybody. You know what I mean? It seemed like Nashville was a handful, and it was a long race, and it seemed like the car went really fast for like 5 laps, and then it felt like it was a tricycle for a moment.
Really one of the most inconsistent nights with this car. That's weird. Really quick, I'll get to that though. Yeah, I feel bad with the 46. We were pretty much racing hard. Coming out of turn 2, I got out of the gas when I was in the outside line. He was coming up. I didn't want to get any contact there. And then going in the corner, we just kind of misjudged it. I don't know if I got on the brakes a millisecond later. I was on the brakes, and then I just kind of got into him still, even though I was on the brakes before we even made contact. So I just feel bad about that. Glad no one really lost spots and everyone was able to recover.
All right, so you won last weekend. You get a second place this weekend. You currently have moved up to fourth place in the points. How's your championship here looking for the rest of the year?
We'll see. The 88 just keeps piling up wins, so that's definitely going to be hard. But yeah, back to what you were saying before that question. The first run, I was 12 seconds back. On the second run, I got it down to like 8.6. And then the third run was about 8 laps, and I felt like I was really great. And then we pitted again with the final caution, fourth run. The car just kind of went away. It was really interesting how it changed so much. I've never really experienced that too much.
Tell you what, Justin, it is always a pleasure to get to talk to you. We know that Pennsylvania is always proud of you. And we also know that you're a hell of a racer. When can I give you a paint scheme that is not so white and green?
I added Pearl Jam tonight to the front of the hood, the stick figure. I'm getting there slowly. Every week I'm going to add a little touch here and there.
I love it, man. I love it. No, I'm totally giving you a hard time. If every race that I've ever seen you run, I don't think I've ever seen you in a full paint scheme ever. I mean, but it's okay. It's okay.
I have to do something because the old mom's eyesight isn't 20/20 like it used to be, and I got to have something that's bright for her to see it with colors.
You know what? I'll let you run my Albert Einstein one. It's very bright.
There you go. I'm sure it is.
It is. Well, we all know me and graffiti. I like it on my cars, and it's very bright. Justin, it's always a pleasure, man. Give shout outs out there. I know you mentioned your mom, but you got a lot of people to thank.
Yeah, well, thanks to you and Kyle for putting on this. Signature Esports is just a great, great company, obviously, as we know. I did order a T-shirt, so if anyone's looking for some cool T-shirts, get out there, get one. I'm excited to get mine. My dad's waiting for his too for Father's Day, so he'll be pumped. And shout out to all the people that were watching. I hope they got a lot of comments, some likes, get the league some exposure.
It's going to be a ton of fun, and we like seeing these guys have these battles, especially when the series goes and starts getting later and later in this. I think that I've got faith that that point lead might shrink a little bit, but I don't know. We never know. Davy's pretty fast, and you are too.
We'll see.
All right, my man. It's always a pleasure. We'll see you next week or in the next race.
Have a great one.
Always, brother. Appreciate you. That is Justin Malarkey, the 97. And last but not least, they say it's a slider on there. Alan Dixon finishes in third. My first chance getting to talk to you from Augusta, Georgia. Alan, you are the veteran of the series, they say, and you finished third here. They're rooting you on for a win. Walk us through your place here. You had to come get around some insurmountable odds here for a moment.
Yeah, I was sitting there and I'd already calculated out that it's going to go green the rest of the way, and Davy's going to drive away and win. And I'm like, I'm in pretty good shape for second because I had good long run speed. And then that caution come out while I was on pit road, which really just killed me because it took me back from being second to being like ninth. And then it was just a battle trying to work your way back up. And then I screwed up and touched the apron and won. It shot me up into the 83, 82, 83, I think it was. And unfortunately got into him. But other than that, it was a good points night.
Now
All right, so you move
I
all
was
the
going
way
to
up.
say Kyle gets to talk to you because Kyle knows a lot about you, and I'm learning more and more about you guys through Kyle every day. So Kyle, go for it, man.
Yeah, I've hit you a couple times. Yeah, you had a good night tonight. You moved up to second in the points. You said you were set up there for the long run. So did you feel like you had anything there for Davey, or were you just kind of sitting there in second place?
No, I wouldn't. Not unless he did something wrong. I wasn't gonna catch him. The first run, I didn't lose him by that much. I was staying. We kind of leveled out and we stayed even with each other. And I thought I did a pretty good pit stop at the end of the first 40 whatever when we changed tires and obviously I didn't do nearly as good as I thought I did because I ended up a couple of seconds further behind him. And at that point, then it was just I was long run. I was better than most everybody else, but I was not as good as he was.
All right, so this is your strongest result of the season. It was good to see you kind of running up there in the front, and let's hope get more shots at it in the future.
Yep. I definitely, it's much more fun to be in the front than it is in the middle or the back.
I agree. I concur. I concur, sir. I concur. Alan, it's always a pleasure to meet you folks, and I'm going to get to know you guys more and more throughout the rest of the season here. But it's your chance. You get to give shout outs. You get to talk about whatever you want and whoever you want to talk about. It's your time to shine, man.
Just thanks for all y'all do, you and Kyle. I had followed you before you had even ever started broadcasting for us, Jason. So I knew that you put on quality broadcast. And you know, apologies to the 83 because I'll have to go talk to him because that was definitely on me. But it was a good thing. Enjoyed it, and we'll catch all of y'all next week.
That's going to be a ton of fun, Alan. We look forward to seeing you. I knew I'd recognized your name, so I always appreciate being able to broadcast folks who have been. You've followed me pretty close to, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months into the start of me doing this. So you've been a follower for a minute.
Yeah, you broadcasted a season with MDOT, and I ran in MDOT.
Yep, I do remember that. And that was a long time ago. Holy cow, man! It feels like I just started this yesterday, but realistic, if I look at the calendar, it's 2022, and I started this in 2020. Holy cow, man! It's just
Well,
good.
Yeah, I won't get into when I started this.
Actually, I was going to ask you that. So 20 years of racing with these guys. With No Toad Racing League, they have 20 years of sim racing and what they're doing with this. How long have you been with them?
I was running in another league, and we had an interleague race between the league was called Growl, and this would have been 2002 probably. And so anyway, they came over and we ran hardcore mode, whereas no out of cockpit, no aids, no anything, and so they had to learn, and then the two groups got to be friends with each other, and so I started running with them and got to be real good friends with Gary and Rafter and several of the others, and so we just kind of been together ever since.
Well, I tell you what, it's awesome. It's awesome to see. It's awesome because racing in general, sim racing in general, has gone through its progression from different systems to the PC grind to pretty much everything that we see. I've been running simulators, or not simulators. I've played. Let's see, was it 94? Was the first time I ever played a racing game, and to see where it's gone from there to here, it's incredible. I don't know how you feel about it, but it is one of those things that you kind of are in awe of what's to come in the future, because I think iRacing is going to have a graphical update very soon that's going to blow some of the other series out of the water.
Yeah, the first racing game I ever ran was Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge, which would have been like 92 or 93.
Yeah, that was the first game I ever played, actually.
Yep.
So, yep.
And then NASCAR 1 came out from Papyrus, came out in 94 and so forth from there. So I'd ran all those and then got into league racing online about 2000.
You know what? We're the old ones of the bunch, and it's okay. We don't mind that. We've been playing video games since before Kyle was born. Apparently, I've heard that one.
Yeah, Kyle. They used to have. There was this video game. It was called Pong,
Yeah.
and all it was a ball that went back and forth, and you had two paddles.
Yeah. I have played it.
I'm sure I'll find out about it on my favorite app, TikTok.
You know what? We should make him a TikTok there, Alan. What we'll
That's the
do
only
is
way I'll learn.
well, I'll have one controller on my end, and you can take a little video of you having a Pong controller on your end, and we'll put a little ball in between us, and we'll call it. It's not paddle ball, you know, with the string and the pink ball and the paddle. It's not that, or the ball in a cup. Remember those? Kick the can. Yeah.
I do.
Those are things that we do. We're old. We're not old, but we're seasoned. We are like fine wine or fine scotch, whatever you want to call it.
Veterans of life.
Veterans of life. I love it. You know what? I don't mind that. Alan, congrats on a P3 finish. I look forward to you try to take one of the wins away from one of these guys here very soon, and hopefully we'll see you up here next week.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Kyle.
Always, my man. That's the man. That's the guy behind the scenes as well. Kyle, what are your takeaways from the race today? Other than I'm only giving you a young pup because you're going to be doing this a lot longer than I am, and to be able to work with you and to be able to have our Sunday nights together, it's been enjoyable, and I look forward to many more with you, and get you into the grind here. We need to get you into more and more races. I think you've got something here that you can pay attention to, and you pay attention to the history of not just the league here, but the racing style and what the drivers are going to be doing. We're going to see Davey Hendricks win again, I'm sure, but what are your takeaways from today for drivers that are going to be going forward?
Yeah, my takeaways today is Dixon. Really, I'll give him driver of the day from my standpoint, at least, from kind of understanding kind of who's capable of what. He's this is the best run I've seen him have in a while, and I do think he had legitimate pace to be able to pressure Hendricks into actually having to use his tires a little bit. So yeah, just a really tough night. A lot of DNFs, just not from big accidents, just from personal mistakes of kind of getting tight and hitting the wall. We talk about next week and all the interviews. Next week is the 4th of July, which is our off week, but we will be back 1 week later at Atlanta.
Atlanta. I love that track.
The proper Atlanta.
The
good Atlanta.
It's hot. It's spicy. Spicy tires coming. Folks, my takeaways from this race is that I'm learning more and more about the series. I've loved this series from so when I first started watching iRacing to kind of pick up what I was doing and watching league races, I've called county races and dirt races pretty much everywhere. And something that I've come to notice is that this is a whole different animal. There's a lot digitally going on. One of the first series that I've been able to follow, and I followed the No Toad Racing League prior to me starting kind of really building the brand of Signature Esports as one of the platforms that you depend on to get out there and do this. So the No Toad Racing League has had me in their sights for a long time. Not vice versa, not just them to me, but me to them, because I've really liked this league. I did their championship race. It was such a good race that day. And that was almost, I don't know, maybe a year ago, not even quite a year ago, but it was still enjoyable. And this series is, it's really striking me. So they have 20 years. I have a 20-year-old, and so it kind of matches. We can keep doing this. It's going to be a ton of fun. But my takeaways from this race are that we have a lot of gut, and we have a lot of grit out of these drivers, even for a racetrack as flat and as new as this one is. So we appreciate everybody doing what you do. But for myself and Kyle over here, I want to thank the No Toad Racing League for their awesome experience that we've had here today for this race. And I also want to thank you all for kicking butt and taking names. We're going to be doing more and more as we continue to grow. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night for the IVRL. That's going to be a ton of fun. That truck series is going to be right back here at Nashville. They're going to run some laps and enjoyed their race line. And thank you to Nerds Do Nerd Things for being my constant sponsor each and every week. So, just another day in paradise for us all over here. Kyle, we'll see you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Happy 4th to you, man.
All right, you too, and same to everyone at home.
Be good, folks. We'll see you in the next one.